sports fans, and welcome to this edition of Wolves Weekly. We're joined today by head soccer coach Rod Fretz. How you doing today, Rod?
Doing well, thanks, Danny. Good to be here.
Well, you've been in practice for over 2 weeks now.
Yep, been over 2 weeks. Going well.
And finally, that ominous day of the season opener is almost upon you.
That's right. We head out this weekend for a couple of pretty tough games right off the bat. Play two CCAA teams down in the Bay Area, Sonoma State University on Thursday, I believe. And on Saturday, we go over to Cal State Stanislaus. Both pretty strong teams. We've played Sonoma several times over the years. Very well organized team, always deep in all positions. We know their system pretty well, but they're just top-notch team. So it's going to be a real challenging opener, but one that'll really show us where we're at. And we're going in with the idea that if we do things right, we can come away with a win. Then we head over to Stanislaus on Saturday, a team we don't know as much about. We've played them, I think, once over all the years I've coached here, 3 or 4 years ago. Also a very well-organized team, and they were strong in the standings of the CCAA last year. So we're looking for a good challenge there. That's always kind of a hot place to play, too, so how we adapt to the weather will be a big factor in our success there, I think.
Well, I'd like to hear a little bit about your 2010 squad and how you guys are doing this during training and how it's looking going into the year.
You bet. Well, we've got a pretty strong team and a very deep team, I think deeper in all the positions than we've had for several years. I think we've really beefed up our strength in a couple key areas in the back line as well as in our attack. We've got our returning leading scorer from last year, Rochelle Cleaver. She'll be a senior this year. Coming into the season on a little bit of a gimpy ankle. She's been in and out of practice sets a bit because of that, but we're really trying to preserve her as well as we can. But she'll be a force. She knows how to score goals. She's a creative player. She knows the game pretty well. And she's really learning to connect with her teammates and develop some chemistry up there in the front. I've got another returning senior, Naomi Shimabuku from Hawaii, who's started for us for 3 years and will be again this year. She's played all over for us over the years, in the back, in the midfield, in the center, and this year she's going to be playing a little bit more of an attacking role. Very quick player, very hard-working player, and understands the game very well. I think that she'll be someone that the other team's defense is going to have to pay a lot of attention to. And that's one of our goals, is to kind of take the pressure off of Rochelle a little bit in the middle by having 2 or 3 other players up in the attack that can really create some danger on their own. A newcomer to our team and someone that will start in the center midfield is Taylor Thompson. She's a transfer from Boise State. We're seeing already in the first couple of weeks the qualities that she brings to our program. She's kind of a classic center mid in the sense that she's very strong technically, good technical touch, understands the game very well. She stays composed under pressure, and that's such a rare, strong quality in soccer. It's a really valuable quality. And so when we're penetrating or trying to get down the field and the other team's defense has us outnumbered, she's smart about turning the ball around, swinging it around the other side, helping us find our point of attack, but really gives us some composure. And I think because of that, we'll be much better in one of our season goal areas, which is being a better team in possessing the ball, keeping the ball, being a little more patient about building up and finding the right attacking opportunities. Another player that I'm really excited about was a freshman last year, Marina Austin from the Olympia area in Washington. Marina really learned a lot about D2 soccer and about competing at this level last year as a freshman, although she had significant injury for a good chunk of the season, but started for us a little bit last year. She's really coming on strong right now. She'll be playing a lot, starting for us up in the front. And probably one of the most powerful shots on our team. She's finding more creative ways to score. She's developed some good chemistry with Rochelle and a couple of the other attacking players. And I think, again, she's a player that's going to take some pressure off of Rochelle, and I expect is going to score a handful of goals this year for us. She's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Well, the team's first home game of the year, you guys will be playing not a non-GNAC school or anything, but you guys will be playing Northwest Christian, and that'll be back here on September 9th.
That's right. Next Wednesday, I believe it is. We've never played them before. I think they're only a program that's 2 or 3 years old. Kind of a late addition to our schedule, but should be a good contest to start out with, and hopefully a chance for our girls to get some success under their belts and score a few goals. But as I said, kind of a little bit of an unknown quantity to us, so sometimes that tells us more about ourselves than if we're playing a familiar foe. But we're looking forward to that.
Fantastic. And then you have to wait almost over 2 more weeks before you come back home for the first GNAC contest, which will be against Seattle Pacific on September 25th.
Yeah, we actually start the GNAC out on the road the week before that up in Washington, Western Washington, and Simon Fraser, two tough opponents. But obviously in the West here, everybody's aware of Seattle Pacific. They won the national title, D2, a couple years ago. They really haven't lost a hitch since then. They're reloading with 9 starters, I think, from last year. They were conference champions last year, so we know that team. We've competed well with them again at times. I kind of love the opportunity to get them fairly early in the season at home. I think that's sometimes where you can sneak up on a powerful team like that, but they're going to be prepared. They're a very well-coached team and probably as deep in talent as any team in the West. And so it'll be a challenge, but it's exciting to get our first crack at them at home.
And you mentioned a couple other players that are going to be key for you this year as well. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, we've got a pretty solid unit that I think will be our starting unit. In the back, I think we're going to be stronger this year than we were last year. We've got a returning defender, Monique Tees, from Washington, who has started ever since her freshman year as a marking back. She'll be in that role again. She's one of our better players at taking responsibility for one of the stronger players from the other team and really marking her out of the game and really taking individual responsibility for that. But a good overall player, good team leader, very competitive player, and she kind of establishes the tone for us back there. Another new player that transferred in from Boise State also is Rebecca Hoyland, who played really well for us in the spring. She's starting the season out on the injured list, hasn't really been able to get into practice much yet. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll get her into the flow of things a little bit more. But she plays in the middle for us, and she will when she gets back fully healthy. She really gives our back line a lot of confidence. Very smart, savvy player. Again, stays calm under pressure, very composed, makes good decisions, and I think when she's on the field, our whole team plays with more confidence. And one thing we notice when she's on the field, and this can be said for a couple of our other older players, is that we attack a little bit more aggressively, attack with a little more abandon. You know, we don't feel so conservative about staying back defensively. Another new player who was here last fall as a redshirt, Danielle Hayward, will also be playing in our back line. So between Tees, Hoyland, and Hayward, we've got a real strong unit of new defenders that are coming into the picture. Well, Tees was here last year. Hayward and Hoyland are new. Danielle is also a very smart player. She seems to read the game very well and finds herself in great position well ahead of time. She knows the little subtle nuances of how to organize the defense, how to cover for other players, all the little things that may not look flashy from the sideline, but really impress us as coaches and, again, instill confidence in her teammates. And then we've got 2 strong goalkeepers that have split time in the last couple of years. And again, they're kind of doing that at the start of the season here this year. Brittany Rigtrip and Kelsey Blatchley, they're both seniors. I think Brittany's a junior athletically, and they're both playing well, training hard. We have a new goalkeeper coach this year, Daniel Day, who's working with both of them, and they're both competing hard for the spot. I think either one of them would have a great shot at starting with just about any other GNAC team. So we feel fortunate to have that kind of depth in our keepers.
Wow.
Last player I'll just mention that's really been training hard and playing well is Kim Whitmer. She plays kind of an attacking center mid role for us. Only a sophomore, played a lot of minutes as a freshman, and it really paid off. She's a better player now. She's more competitive. She really seems to have some confidence in her game, and I expect she'll be another player that'll share the scoring load for our team. And I think if we get that kind of scoring out of 4 or 5 players in the attack, we'll surprise some teams this year.
Well, thank you, Rod. Thanks for joining us today, and thank you all for watching this edition of Wolves Weekly.